What's up, Alchemy family? It's Justin here for another Vinyasa flow class. I hope you guys are all doing really well. If you didn't know, Alberta provincial parks are now open, so I got out today and enjoyed an awesome hike in the mountains. And if you guys are feeling up for it, I totally suggest a nice nature walk, breathe in the fresh air, get outside, and just spend some time in nature. And today we're going to focus on grounding and having a nice rooted, grounded, connected practice. So we're going to start in standing, bringing our feet together, closing down the eyes, connecting to the breath. Hands can come to heart center. And just feeling the roots growing down through your feet, deep into the center of the earth, connecting you, grounding you, rooting you into the earth. And if it feels right for you today, you can set an intention for your practice. And then bringing your hands to your sides, fingertips come together as you inhale, lifting up through the arms, stretching out through the fingertips, reaching up, interlacing your hands, stretching up. And as you exhale, hands come down, reaching out through the fingertips, engaging the arms, flowing with breath here. Inhale, lift up, interlace and stretch up. As you exhale, hands come down. We're going to do a few more just like this. Inhaling up, interlace, stretching up. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, lift up, interlace and stretch. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, reaching up, interlace and stretch up. Exhale, bending over to the right hand side, stretching through the side body, reaching out through your palms, arcing through the rib cage and pushing your hips towards the side wall here, straightening through the elbows, reaching and stretching for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale back to center. Exhale over to the opposite side. Just allowing the entire side body to open here, creating space through the ribs, through the arms, through the legs. On your next inhale, returning back to center. Exhale, hands come down. Finding a slight bend through your knees. Inhale, reaching up and back, interlacing the fingertips, opening the chest. And as you exhale, hands come around as if you were carrying 2 trays, straightening your legs. Inhale, hands out to the sides, and then up overhead. Interlace and stretch up. As you exhale, hands come down in front, and then out to the sides. Inhale, hands in front, and then up overhead. Interlace, stretching up. As you exhale, hands come down to your sides. Inhale, lifting up, interlace and stretch up. As you exhale, bending at the waist 90 degrees, palms towards the front of your mat, hips towards the back wall, gazes focused down towards the mat. Breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. Rising back to stand. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, lifting up, interlace and stretch. As you exhale, palms come to prayer, forward fold, coming all the way down, crown towards the earth. Option to bend through the knees as much as you need to release any tension in your lower back. And just allowing the head to hang heavy here, letting all the tension and stress of the day just roll off your back down into the mat. Option to sway side to side if that feels good. Option to grab opposite hands to opposite elbows here. Just taking whatever variations feel good for you. On your next inhale, interlacing the palms, elbows to your ears, rising back to stand. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, lifting up. Interlace and stretch up. As you exhale, sinking deep into your chair Utkatasana. Heavy in the heels, light in the toes, sinking back and down as low as you can go. Palms up towards the sky. Breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. Rising back to stand. Exhale, hands come down. Coming up onto the tippy toes, lifting up through the arms, thumbs come to touch for palm tree pose. Finding your balance here, finding your strength. And as you exhale, releasing down to the mat. Inhale, lifting up, interlace and stretch up. As you exhale, palms to prayer, folding forward, coming all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, finding length through the spine, fingertips to your shins. And as you exhale, hands come down to the mat, feet step back, coming into a high plank, stacking shoulders over wrist, pushing down through the palms, engaging the upper back. And as you exhale, option to come down to your knees, lowering all the way down to your mat. Big toes pull towards the back wall. Inhale, pushing down through the palms, lifting open through the collarbones, lifting the heart space, coming into cobra. As you exhale, lowering down, curling the toes under, sending the hips towards the sky for downward facing dog. On your next inhale, rising up onto the tippy toes. As you exhale, hopping or stepping forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, reaching and rising all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reaching up, palms rise to the sky. Exhale, diving forward, let it all go. Inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, planting the palms, feet step back, high plank. Option to lower down halfway or all the way, yogi's choice. And as you inhale, coming into cobra, upward facing dog, pushing down through the palms, lifting open through the collarbones, open through the heart and the chest. And as you exhale, hips come back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, right leg reaches up towards the sky. As you exhale, stepping it in between the palms. Back foot comes up and out to 45 degrees, squaring the hips to the front of the mat, rising up for warrior one. Really grounding down through the knife edge of your back foot, reaching up through the fingertips, drawing the navel in towards the spine, finding length, finding strength. Breathing here. On your next exhale, clasping your palms behind your lower back. As you inhale, heart reaches up to the sky. And as you exhale, folding forward, right shoulder to right knee, humble the warrior. Releasing the head and the neck here and just allowing the gaze to fall back towards your back foot or the wall behind you. Option to bring your clasped palms away from your lower back, stretching through the shoulders, opening through the chest. Breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. Rising back to stand, straightening the front leg, fingertips reach up towards the sky, and then pulling that right hip back, left hip forward and bending at the waist. Hands can come down to your shin, to your blocks, to your mat, whatever is accessible for you here. Just allowing yourself to find length through the back line of the hamstring, the glute, the calf, and just allowing the lower body to open here. On your next inhale, rising back to stand, warrior one. And as you exhale, hands come down to the mat. Front foot steps back, high plank. Lowering down with control. And as you inhale, chest lifts, heart opens. exhale, hips go back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg reaches up towards the sky. As you exhale, stepping it through, back foot comes up and out to 45 degrees, squaring through the hips, rising up, warrior one. Really feeling that stretch to the back calf muscle, reaching up through those fingertips. Navel draws in towards your chest. On your next exhale, palms clasp behind your lower back. As you inhale, reaching your heart up to the sky. And as you exhale, diving forward, left shoulder, left knee. Releasing the head and the neck down towards the mat. And just finding strength in humility here. On your next inhale, rising back to stand, or reaching up through the fingertips, straightening that front leg. Left hip comes back, right hip goes forward, folding at the waist. Fingertips come to your shin, to your mat, to your blocks, whatever is most accessible for you. On your next inhale, rising back to stand, warrior one. As you exhale, hands come down to your mat, stepping it back, high plank. Lowering down with control. As you inhale, peeling open through the chest. As you exhale, sending it back, downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here, and just allowing yourself to ground through the palms, through the feet, reconnect to your breath. On your next inhale, right leg reaches up to the sky. As you exhale, stepping it through, long and strong through the back leg, rising up for crescent lunge. Energy through that back heel, stacking your front elbow over your front knee over your front ankle. Fingertips reach up towards the sky. On your next inhale, getting light in your back foot, coming forward, warrior three. Fingertips reach towards the front edge of your mat. Heel reaches back towards the wall behind you, long and straight through the spine. Lifting up that back heel just a few inches. Gaze is focused down towards the mat. Breathing here, finding your balance, finding your strength. On your next exhale, hands come down towards your mat, reaching that left heel up towards the sky, coming into standing splits, drawing your nose, your forehead in towards your knee, your shin, and just allowing yourself to lift that left heel up towards the sky, stretching out the back line of the hamstring, the glute, the calf, for 3, 2, and 1. And without touching that back foot down, rising back to stand. Right hand lifts up to the sky. Left foot catches the inner edge of your left foot, preparing for dancer's pose. Maybe this is where you stay, and if you want to move it a bit deeper, kicking back through the foot, reaching forward through the fingertips. Finding length here, squaring that left hip down towards the mat, reaching forward through the hand, kicking back through the foot for 3, 2, and 1. Rising back to stand, taking that left foot, crossing it over your right thigh, ankle onto thigh, coming into a figure 4, and then sinking back into your chair. If you have the space in your body, you can bring your hands down to the mat and come into flying pigeon if that's part of your practice. Otherwise, just sinking into the chair here, opening through the hip, breathing deep for 3, for 2, And 1, rising back to stand, grounding your feet down into the mat. Hands come to heart center, closing down the eyes, maybe pedaling out the feet a little bit if that feels good for you. On your next inhale, hands reach up to the sky. As you exhale, diving forward, crown to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, planting the palms, stepping the feet back, high plank, lowering down with control. And as you inhale, lifting through the heart, opening the chest. Exhale, sending those hips back, downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here, option to take child's pose as well, whatever you need to reconnect to your practice, reconnect to your breath. On your next inhale, left leg reaches up towards the sky. As you exhale, stepping it in between the palms, long and strong through your back leg, rising up for crescent lunge. Reaching through that back heel, lifting that back knee up towards the sky, stacking your front knee over your ankle, reaching up through your fingertips, finding balance, finding strength. And on your next inhale, coming forward, warrior 3, fingertips reaching towards the front of the room, heel kicks back towards the back wall. Reaching through those hands, lifting that heel straight through the spine for 3, for 2, and 1. Hands come down to your mat, to your blocks, or to your calf, whatever's best for you. Reaching that right heel up towards the sky, drawing your forehead, your nose in towards your knee, your shin, and lifting that right heel up as high as you can for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Without touching the foot down, rising back to stand. Left hand reaches up towards the sky. Right hand catches the inner edge of your right foot, preparing for dancer's pose. And maybe this is where you stay. If you'd like to move deeper, option to kick back through the foot, reaching forward through the fingertips, squaring that right hip down towards the mat, kicking back, reaching forward, stretching long here for 3, for 2, and 1. Rising back to stand, bringing that right ankle over into your left thigh, coming into a figure 4, sinking back into your chair. Option to bring your palms down to the mat here, coming into flying pigeon if that's part of your practice. And just allowing yourself to really sink deep into the hips here. Taking a few more breaths. And on your next inhale, rising back to stand, grounding through the feet, option to pedal out the legs. Hands come to heart center, closing down the eyes and just growing your roots back down into the earth. Hands come to your sides as you inhale. Arms reach up to the sky. As you exhale, diving forward, crown to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, planting the palms, stepping the feet back, high plank. Lowering down with control here. Inhale, peeling open through the heart, lifting the chest. And as you exhale, sending the hips back, downward facing dog. Option to take child's pose here if you'd like. We're going to be here for a few breaths. So just allowing yourself to rest, to relax, to connect through your breathing, through your palms, through your feet. And on your next inhale, stacking shoulders over wrists, high plank. And as you exhale, lowering yourself all the way down to the mat. Now we're going to bring our forearms down, clasp our palms together, forming a triangle in front of our bodies, elbows stacked under shoulders, grounding through the toes, lifting up through the hips, coming into a low plank position. And we're going to hold here for 10 breaths, so just pushing back through the heels, engaging the core, pushing down through the forearms, engaging the shoulders, engaging the upper back for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing your knees down. Option to bring a cheek to the mat. Option to stack your forehead on stacked palms, whatever feels best for you. And when you're ready, clasping your palms behind your lower back, bringing your legs together to touch. And as you inhale, pulling back through the palms, opening the chest. Option to lift the legs. Breathing here for 3, lifting up for 2, and 1. Releasing down, releasing the palms. If you're bringing a cheek to the mat, just switching sides to balance out the neck. And then bending through both knees here, reaching back for your outside edges of your feet with your palms. Knees are hip distance apart, just visualizing yourself squeezing a block between your thighs, engaging that inner line of the body. And as you inhale, kicking back through the feet, lifting open through the chest, lifting through the collarbones, reaching up through the heart space for 5, breathing here for 4, finding length for 3, creating space for 2, opening your heart for 1, and then letting go with control, gently lowering back down to the mat. And when you're ready, rolling over onto your back, preparing for bridge pose. So we're going to bring our feet about hip distance apart with the ability to graze the back edges of our heels with the tips of our middle fingers. From here, grounding through the heels, lifting through the hips. Chin comes in towards your chest. Option to bring your palms beneath your lower back, providing support, lifting the hips even a little bit higher if that's available for you, and just allowing the front side body to open here. On your next exhale, gently releasing yourself down to the mat. And we're going to take one more heart-opening pose, bridge or wheel, yogi's choice. So if you're taking bridge, you can do the pose we just did. And if you're taking wheel, bringing your palms to your ears, fingertips facing the bottom edge of your mat. As you inhale, lifting up the hips, grounding the palms, lifting the head, straightening the elbows here and stacking your shoulders over your wrists, opening through the heart space. Tucking your chin slightly in towards your chest so your head's not hanging down towards the mat. And when you're ready, chin towards your chest, gently lowering down with control. Giving your knees a nice big squeeze in towards your chest if that feels good. You option to windshield wiper the legs side to side. Whatever feels best for you to release tension in your lower back. And from here, we're going to bring our feet down to the mat, crossing our right ankle over our left thigh, coming into a figure 4 position. Option to stay here. Option to clasp the palms behind the left thigh or the left shin, whatever is most accessible for you. And just dropping the head back down towards the mat. Flexing those right toes up towards the sky to protect the knee joint. And just allowing yourself to breathe deep into the hips here, creating space, letting go of any tension you might be feeling in the glutes, the hips, the hamstrings. Breathing here. On your next exhale, releasing the legs down. Switching sides, bringing the left ankle onto your right thigh, figure 4 on the opposite side. Option to stay there. Option to clasp your hands behind your right thigh or your right shin, depending on your flexibility. Flexing those left toes up towards the sky, releasing the head down to the mat, and just allowing yourself to create space through the outside edge of that glute, hip, hamstring area. And then bringing your feet down to the mat. And we'll rock and roll up into a seated position. Drawing our right leg out in front. Sole of the left foot comes in towards the thigh. Squaring the upper body over the extended leg as you inhale, reaching the palms up to the sky. As you exhale, folding forward, reaching for the toes, for the shin, for the thigh, whatever's accessible for you. If you've got a strap or a belt at home and it helps you release tension in your lower back, you're more than welcome to use that here. And just allowing yourself to close down the eyes, drawing your attention and awareness inward here. On your next inhale, rising back to seated, switching sides, left foot comes out, sole of the right foot comes in, squaring your upper body, and as you inhale, lifting up, as you exhale, folding forward, reaching for the toes, for the shin, for the thigh, whatever is accessible for you here. And just drawing your forehead down towards your knee, closing down the eyes, and just allowing yourself to find surrender here. On your next inhale, rising back to seated. Soles of the feet come together to touch. Finding length in the spine. And as you exhale, hands come beneath the shins, reaching for the tops of the feet. Crown of the head comes down towards the toes. Just opening through the hips here, releasing through the lower back. On your next inhale, rising back to seated. And then coming to lie down on your back, preparing for waterfall or shoulder stand. If you're taking waterfall, you can just place a block or a rolled up towel beneath your lower back. If you're coming into shoulder stand, rolling up onto your shoulder blades, clasping the palms, rolling the shoulders under. Hands come to your lower back, feet reach up towards the sky, reaching through the balls of your feet. Chin draws in towards your chest. Closing down the eyes and breathing here. On your next exhale, lowering your feet down, coming into plow, and then gently unraveling vertebrae by vertebrae, coming to lie down on your back, bringing your feet out in front of you, legs come together to touch, palms of the hands ground down beneath the sit bones, and as you inhale, reaching forward through the big toes, grounding through the forearms, crown of the head comes to the earth for fish pose, opening through the heart, opening through the chest, for 3, for 2, and 1. Chin in towards your chest, lowering down with control, squeezing your knees in towards your chest, and then rolling over to the right hand side, coming into a supine twist. Making sure you ground both shoulder blades down into the mat. Option to gaze over your left palm if that feels good for you. And just allowing your entire body to unravel here. Through the hips, the lower back, the spine, upper back, shoulders, neck. Just letting it all go. On your next inhale, returning to center. And as you exhale, twisting over towards the opposite side. Inhaling back to center. And then reaching for the outside edges of your feet with your hands, coming into happy baby. Option to straighten the legs if that feels good for you. Option to rock and roll side to side. Just taking whatever final movements you need before your final resting pose of Shavasana. And then when you're ready, bringing your feet down to the mat, toes splay open to the sides, palms facing up towards the sky, closing down the eyes here and just allowing yourself to find complete rest, complete relaxation, complete surrender here. Gently drawing attention and awareness back to your body. Finding slight movement through your fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. And then giving yourself a nice good morning stretch. And when you're ready, rolling over onto your right hand side, coming into the fetal position. And then rising up to meet in a comfortable seat. Rooting down through the sit bones. Closing down the eyes. Finding length through the spine. And connecting to your breath. Bringing your hands together at heart center, and just remembering the intention you set today at the beginning of practice. And then drawing your palms up to your third eye, bowing to the light within. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I can't wait to see you guys again next week. If you enjoyed this video, I'd encourage you to click the thumbs up, subscribe to Alchemy, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day. I'll see you all soon.